Greetings, Warrior fans. I'm Sports Information Director Mike Stetson, and I want to thank you for joining us for another edition of the Warrior Weekly Show. Coming up on tonight's show, we'll be joined by new Waldorf Director of Athletics, Chad Gassman. Chad grew up in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and played baseball as a pitcher in the late 90s at Morehead State in Kentucky, where he earned his bachelor's degree in communication. He earned a master's in teaching from Olivet Nazarene in Illinois, where he was also an assistant baseball coach, and first came to Waldorf in 2006, where he was the Warriors head baseball coach as well as the assistant athletic director for 5 years. Since then, Coach Gassman led the University of Pikeville baseball team in Kentucky for 4 seasons, was the head coach at Judson University in Illinois for 4 seasons, as well as the athletic director at Judson, and was the field manager for the Hyannis Harborhawks of the Cape Cod Summer League in Massachusetts for the past 11 summers. Fans, before we get started, I'd also like to thank Bella Ruiz and the entire Waldorf Communication Department for producing our new and improved edition of the Warrior Weekly Show. Now, it's time for the Warrior Weekly Show. Chad, I want to thank you for joining us for our inaugural edition of the Warrior Weekly Show here on WAL TV.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Well, let's jump right in. Obviously, the first big question, how does it feel to be back on campus here at Waldorf?
Oh, it's great. Just great to be back in Forest City, and our family's just ecstatic that we're back at Waldorf University, formerly Waldorf College.
It's been 8 years since you were here last when you were coaching in the assistant AD. What have you seen that's changed? What has stayed the same? And what have you had to adapt to here at Waldorf since coming back?
Well, the people haven't changed. The town is still great, and the people that work here at the university is great. And been so welcoming, and it's so good to be back here. What has changed is the facilities in the athletic department, really top-notch facilities, and then also the staffing. You know, more support staff, more assistant coaches. So it's been nice to see that in the last 8 years.
Growing up in Pennsylvania, what kind of sports did you play? I'm guessing baseball was one of them, but did you play other sports?
Yeah, I played, believe it or not, I played baseball, basketball, which was probably my favorite sport.
Really?
And then this is going to throw you for a loop. I went to a private Christian school, and they didn't have football, so I was competitive and I liked to play, so I played soccer.
Really?
Yeah. The coaching staff here needs to know I was a right fullback. I don't even know if that's really a position in college soccer, but that was the position I played, and I really enjoyed it. Kind of kept me in shape for basketball and baseball.
So you said that basketball was your favorite. Was baseball a big passion, or was it just something you did?
Well, I liked them both, but I really enjoyed basketball. But there's not a lot of 6'2" power forwards in Division I basketball, so. But baseball did like left-handed pitchers, so.
Left-hander, nice.
Yes.
Okay. So what was your fondest memory from your playing days, be it the private school in high school or Morehead State or anything like that?
Well, I have a lot of great memories. It's hard to just think of one, but the biggest thing is just the camaraderie with your teammates. And I had great coaches that I will stay in touch. You know, Coach Jarnigan, my baseball coach at Morehead State, I talk to him probably every other week. So, you know, the wins and losses were fun. I mean, especially the wins, the championships and records and awards. But the biggest thing I remember is just the camaraderie of your coaches and your teammates.
You played back in the 90s. It's tough to find stats that, you know, that aren't online. How did you do as a pitcher?
Mike, that's a really good thing that you can't find stats anymore. So I was very average at best. Possibly below as far as a Division I baseball player. And, you know, some injuries took place and stuff like that. You've heard that story before. But, no, I remember my first outing was at Tulane University, and I believe they're still playing that baseball game. I don't think I ever got out of the inning. So.
Well, you say that it was average, but I mean, holy cow, to be a Division I student athlete is pretty impressive in its own right. So I think you were a little bit more than average. But
Well, very, very, very fortunate to be able to have that opportunity.
you also had the chance while at Hyannis with the Harbor Hawks that you coached, I think, 19, 20 different guys that went on to the major leagues. Including a couple guys that are playing for the Twins.
Yeah.
What was that like, getting a chance to coach professional baseball players?
Well, again, just another great opportunity I've been able to have. Doesn't really identify who I am as a person, but it's been a lot of pleasure coaching those guys. And the biggest thing is it's just neat to watch a game and say, hey, I coached that guy one summer. Especially, if you're a Twins fan, Mitch Garver, the catcher, and then Devin Smeltzer, a left-handed pitcher that's been kind of up and down, and I think he's got a few starts lately. So it's just fun to watch those guys.
Playing at a school like Morehead State, tell me a little bit what it was like being a Division I athlete.
Well, to be quite honest with you, you travel certain places and you go certain ways, but really no different than being a athlete here at Waldorf University. You get in the bus, you travel with your teammates, and you go places and you try to compete and you try to work together as a team. And yeah, did I have some cool experiences? We played at Clemson and Auburn and different things like that. But I tell you what, when you're a college athlete, that's the experience. I don't care where you're at. So, because it's you get that opportunity to play with your teammates and just compete. That's what it's all about to me.
You've had a chance to coach a variety of teams at a bunch of different levels. What's the best part of being a coach for you?
Well, again, just all the great relationships I've had. Taking teams that, whether you had a good season, bad season, and just try to improve each year on that. And build programs and be a visionary, and it doesn't matter where you start but where you finish. And I believe I tell you what, I've learned so much through sports. My very first sporting event was I was a wrestler. I was in first grade, and I was pinned in about 3 seconds. Okay, and right there I learned, adversity. Okay. And the worst thing could have happened if my dad said, okay, Chad, you can go home and you don't have to wrestle again. But he said, no, you're going to get back out there on that mat and wrestle. And the next match, I think I got pinned again. And then the third one, I won. Okay. And then I realized, this is what athletics is all about. And then if you work a little harder and you try a little harder and you believe and you have a positive attitude, who knows what can happen. So that's what I love about sports, is because, I know it'd be fun, I guess for Alabama fans and stuff who win all the time, but I think there's a lot to learn about adversity and trying to figure out how to have success.
Wonder if now you've admitted to having a wrestling background, if Tyrese and Ryan will get you out on the mat and have you working with the team some weekend or something.
They don't want to. They don't want to have me out there. But no, I do. It's a great sport.
Moving into your role as the director of athletics and stepping away from coaching, what do you think you'll miss most about being on the field, on the sidelines?
Well, I think just those interactions you have with your players, and then just the thrill of competition. But now I just get a cheer for everybody. We had a great win tonight in volleyball, and I get a lot of I love that just as much. So yeah, there'll be some things I miss, but I'm ready for that new chapter.
Being a former coach, do you feel that perspective helps you in your new role as director of athletics?
Oh, 100%. I believe athletic directors, this is my personal opinion, no one's probably listening, but I think athletic directors should have a coaching experience. And because they need to know what it's like to go through, all the different things. So I think I've got an advantage that I've been able to coach for 13 years.
Being a former baseball coach, and do you get tempted to tinker at all with one of those programs, like say
No
maybe
way,
baseball?
no way. Coach Talgis is doing a great job, and he he's he doesn't need me in his ear. No, he'll be able to coach that, and I'll watch him, and I'll be out there, but he doesn't need me bothering him. He doesn't, and I don't want to bother him. He does a great job.
Just happy to go out and watch him put up some wins.
100%.
In your years as an AD, as well as a coach, do you feel there were more challenges doing both roles, or do you feel like it's easier to just be an athletic director?
No, Waldorf University's put me in a great situation where I can just concentrate on being an athletic director. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was wearing too many hats. As you were reading that bio, I was like, wow, I was coaching AD and doing summer stuff in IS. And looking back now, I feel like I did it okay at it, but it's good to just concentrate on being an athletic director.
I'm just curious how you managed to juggle all that.
Well, I think I had great support staff. My wife has great support staff. She's done a great job. And then I had people around me that just really helped me do a good job. Just like here, I've got a great support staff.
During your time in Hyannis, you had the chance to work with so many of those players that went on to the pro level. Do you stay in touch with them? Do you occasionally get to go to a ballpark and say, hey, I used to coach you?
So that was a commitment I made a long time to myself, was because I knew I'd be coaching a lot of guys that are going to be big leaguers. And yes, the answer to your question is I have reached out to several, but it had nothing to do if they're a big leaguer or if they made it to single A. But there's a few that I do keep in contact, and we text back and forth and call. And then if they make it to the big leagues, I'll text them. But never wanted to get into it to see what they could do for me,
No.
So now if they offer me some tickets or something, I'm not going to turn them down. But honestly, I'm just so thankful that I've got to be a part of their story, and I don't need anything more than that.
I would imagine it's got to be incredibly satisfying when, say, if you go up to the Twin Cities and you get to see some of your former guys, to see them perform.
Yeah. Most importantly, it's just with my three kids saying, hey, I got to coach that guy. And they're like, oh, yeah. But, yeah, it's from that standpoint. But, Mike, it's really nothing bigger than that. Just I got a chance to coach some guys that play on TV, but it's no different than I got a chance to coach there's some guys that I coached here at Waldorf University that are high school coaches and assistant coaches or teaching in the high schools. And that's just, and I'm not saying that because that's the right thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's just as gratifying.
The legacy goes on no matter what level.
When you're serving people and you're helping people, that's why we're in this industry.
While you were athletic director at Judson, the school added men's volleyball and both bowling programs. What are the challenges in overseeing that kind of a change, and will we see changes like that at Waldorf? More sports, maybe?
Well, to answer the first part, the challenge is always just getting it started, from the ground on. But no, the key is hiring good coaches, which we did, and then they did a great job establishing the programs. And I think that's something we need to talk about with our enrollment team and our administration, if that's something we want to start. I think you got to be very strategic about it, and you have to have a good plan. You don't want to just make impulse decisions, but have a good plan behind it. So we'll see.
I know a main goal for you is to see the success of Warrior athletics, both on the fields and the courts, as well as in the classroom. Excuse me. Is there anything else that you see as a major goal for Waldorf athletics in the near future or the long-term future?
Well, you just hit it. We want to have an all-encompassing approach. We don't want to just be winning championships on the field, but we want to be just being great citizens. We want to be great in the classroom, and that's what we'll continue to push. And then as far as vision, we just want to keep growing from where we've been. Like I said, 8 years ago, it was a special place to be, and it just keeps getting better. and expect the continued growth.
Was this always a goal? Was this the career aspiration to be director of athletics at a university?
I can't say when I was 19, 20 years old that was my goal. My goal was to be a middle reliever for the Kansas City Royals. But no, I think there was a certain point in my coaching career where I said, you know, I'd really like to be in athletic administration and help coaches grow.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you joining us. Welcome back to campus. I look forward to everything that you're going to be doing in the department over the coming months, years, and who knows how long. But congratulations on the position, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mike.
I want to thank you again, and thank you, fans, for joining us for our first edition of Warrior Weekly here with WAL TV. Want to thank the staff here at the Communication Department, along with Bella Ruiz, for all of their help. That'll do it for tonight's show. I want to thank the production staff at WAL TV, the entire communication department here at Waldorf, and of course our producer, Bella Ruiz, for everything they've done to make the new Warrior Weekly show possible. Thank you, good night, and go Warriors.